guy somewhere between West High School, growing up in the Rose Park neighborhood, and Weber State, and living in Ogden and becoming immersed in golf and writing, somehow this conversion of those two things that would become your career. How did you get there to Golf Digest from Rose Park? And what is it about golfers that made them so fascinating for you to write about?
Well, I'm not sure I can really go on for that long, Kurt. I thought I'd go for 30 seconds and then be in a puddle of casual water up there. No, it's really overwhelming. I would have crawled across the Rocky Mountains to get here. I can't hit a golf ball to the base of the Rocky Mountains, but it's just too much. It's like Dorothy waking up in the Wizard of Oz in the Emerald City. I just can't believe that I wound up where I did. It's just very lucky. I grew up in this community in Rose Park. I think there's a lot of communities like it, really, but I always felt mine was unique. It was just loaded with children. There were 5 elementary schools in this sort of middle class, lower middle class neighborhood, 5 of them within 1 mile. And the community there, it was they loved sports. It was very athletic minded. The little leagues were war zones. It was amazing that way, but extraordinary people from every walk of life came out of there. Clayton Christensen, a world-class, world-renowned business consultant, grew up 2 blocks from me. Don McKean, who, by the way, they're part of what I call the heroes of Table 12, friends and family who did so much to help me, just incalculable. So you come out of this environment, and I think you acquire certain things from people. You learn to deal with people. You learn to be outgoing. It made me sort of an extrovert in there. I was always trying to crawl a little bit, be a little more aggressive, and all that to get to be noticed. And just through a series of sort of good breaks, and we all need good breaks. I got through West and wound up by a miracle at Weber State. People were very kind to me, and I got on at the student newspaper there, was sports editor of that paper, then managing editor. Next thing I know, I get on at the Ogden Standard Examiner, where I sort of majored in golf, and then I was just noisy as hell. I just harassed these people at Golf Digest all over, and the squeaky wheel can get the grease. And that was a lot of that. I mean, my dad taught me that. My mom was that way. My sister was like that. And so, boy, that's the Wizard of Oz Part 2, to go from here back out to Connecticut and begin this life and see things that it's just unimaginable. It's like when you're kids, we all read these biographies, sports biographies, and you see these things on TV. And they're just people you really do. You dream of them. It seems so out of reach, like it can never happen. And I wound up face to face with my heroes in a great place with journalism and media. And every single golfer that I ever wanted to have an encounter with or interview, I got to see and spend as much time as I wanted to with. I earned their trust. I tried so hard to be creative and innovative in the formats that I did, and it all came true. And so, for me, what does it mean? A couple of things stay with me here. The things that I learned from great players. One was Jackie Burke, who treated me like a son. The legendary Masters PGA champion Jackie Burke, who treated me like a son. And I did a book with Jackie. I did his autobiography and spent a lot of time at Champions Golf Club with him. And he always said, he had a lot of profound things that he would say, and some of them like were to me personally, you know. But one thing he said, one time I was getting a little frisky. I was teasing him something about some major tournament that he lost or something, and he kind of scolded me for a minute, and but then one thing he said is, he goes, you remember something, young man. He goes, there's no such thing as a self-made man. He goes, and the earlier you know that, the better. He goes, don't ever get too full of yourself, and don't ever take too much credit for what you did or how hard you worked. He goes, we all need other people. And I'm here for you, and you be here for other people. Don't you ever think you did anything alone. And that was humbling. It's true. Another thing I learned this from Arnold Palmer. And spent a lot of time with Arnold in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. I spent a lot of time with him in his office in Orlando. One thing that Arnold told me, what I tried to do as an interviewer and as a journalist was I tried to be what I call like a rattler of human skeletons. It's really interesting to hear what people did in golf and how they did it, but I always thought that was sort of pedestrian or kind of common. I always really wanted to know what drove these people inside and what their values were like and what made them mad, what they loved, what they were afraid of, what they dreamed about, their likes, dislikes. I would really like to drill down on that. And one thing that, I remember talking to Arnold, and he told me that the greatest moment of his life was not in victory, and heaven knows there's never been anybody more popular than Arnold or more beloved than Arnold Palmer. But he said the greatest moment in his life was after he got beat in the 1966 U.S. Open, that playoff against Billy Casper, great Utah player. And he said after that, he thought for a minute that his world was coming down. You know, it crushed him. He thought that people would turn on him. He thought that he had disappointed, let people down, and he said he learned within 2 or 3 months that it was just the opposite. That there suddenly, out of nowhere, was this tremendous outpouring of empathy and sympathy and caring for the man Arnold was. And he said he was never the same after that. He said it hurt him as a golfer because now the eye of the tiger would step on their neck and practice all the time and keep climbing that ladder, going up those golden stairs. He said he didn't do that anymore. He said it took something from him competitively, but it added so much more on the back end because suddenly he looked around and he saw love, and it softened Arnold. He saw the love that people had for them and that they would love him unconditionally, regardless of what he was. And the moral of that was, he said, what this game is about. And this, as he said, it's about people. And man, you think of it, why else do you go play golf but to be with your buddies, right? And these associations, and it's just so true. And the thing I'm most grateful for, I think, was what this state and what these people at table 12 and some over there at table 13 did for me. It's how it prepared me for leaving here and going out into the world. When I went back to Golf Digest, I'm a minnow in a sea of whales. But you know, right away, I found I was so prepared to go back there. I really had a solid grasp of golf instruction. I'd become, a decent player. I mean, if Doug Bybee were playing left-handed, I couldn't beat him. But I was okay in these little things. And so I knew instruction. I learned to get around and play okay. I knew the rules of golf. Again, I'm no Sherm Hatfield, but I learned the rules of golf really good, where I was conversant with people like Joseph C. Dye, whose column I edited and who I ghostwrote. I knew the game's history so good. If people like Steve Wavin over here where you would talk, they would inspire you, they would make Ernie Schneider, they would make you feel the heritage of this game and embed something in your DNA, that never left. And so these people, they talk to me right away. They'd say, "Where are you from?" And I'm a young guy. And I'd say, "Well, I'm from Utah." And they'd always look kind of at me incredulously because I think that Utah, on a national way, you go to the East Coast, it was sort of looked at a little bit as a backwater. And they almost couldn't believe it. I go, "Hey, man, it is no backwater. Believe me, you grow up golf in Utah, you will become a real golfer." And that's what, real golfers are. It's something where you have an understanding of the game, of its etiquette. As a player, you'll be as tough as a Bruce Brockbrand or Doug here. And there will be talent that comes out of that backwater back there, like Eric Hogue. And you see this, I was just always so proud, to be from here. And, it's just too much. I just love it. I've been away for 40 years from here. I'm at a place now where I can live really anywhere I want. And I've been back in town for a few days, and man, I think, how can I not come back here? So anyway.
We'll take you.
I digressed.
That's what made you who you are. And if you wonder how to get in the Utah Hall of Fame for golf, it helps to be born with a name of A through H. If you look at our inductees. But Yocum is proof that you can get there all the way from Y, way back in the back of the alphabet. And I'm delighted that we saved him for last. 2024 Utah Golf Hall of Fame inductee, Yocum.